Hey guys, so I want to give you a quick tour of Pro Audio Workshop Seeing Sound so you can see what it's like on the inside if you're thinking about joining. So first of all, there's two packages to choose from. This one's your standard package, this one's accelerated. I created the accelerated one for people who basically want to go faster. That's why it's called accelerated. So the main thing here is that you get 4 extra one-on-one private training sessions with me to be used anytime during the first 6 months that you're working on the course. You also get access to a special private mastermind group that I have that's over here, and an extra 6 months in our private community. So if you feel like you just need a little something extra and you want to move quickly, that might be the right package for you. Down here, when you decide between standard and accelerated, then you're going to choose whether you want to pay monthly or upfront. Upfront just means like you would normally pay the tuition for any course, you're going to pay all of it at once usually. And so you can choose to, if you pay all at once right away, then you're going to save some money on both of these. I did want to make it easier for people to join though, so I finance a monthly payment plan. So it would be, on this one, for example, it would be $97 your first month, and then you would have 5 more payments after that. So each of these is for 6 months, okay? So 6 payments of $97 for this monthly standard package, 6 payments of $197 for this standard package. So again, most seminars and workshops and courses you would take would require you to pay all of this up front, right? But I know a lot of people can't really handle that kind of expense, and so I've allowed you to split it out over a few months. Okay, so you would choose one of those, you would go ahead and join, and then the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to open up to this page. This shows an overview of all of the modules. There's 5 of them. We have Tools of the Trade, Placement, Aim, EQ and Listening, and Crossover Alignment. So then within each module, there are lessons. This first module has lessons 1.1, 1.2. These are introductory lessons to sort of get you started, teach you how to use the system here. And the middle lessons are about getting your tools up and running. So you're going to need some kind of prediction design software. I don't really care which one you use, but there are free ones available that I recommend people use. MapXT, it's one of the free ones that allows you to do a lot of stuff. And then we talk about getting your audio analyzer set up. Now this first module, for a lot of people, can go by really quick. It might just take you a week or less, because if you already have an audio analyzer, Smart, SatLive, these kind of things set up, then you can just kind of blaze through this and you'll be ready for the next module. If you don't have those things set up, then this first module can take a little bit longer. And that's why when you get into this lesson, let's see, I'll go ahead and open this one up, I think. And that's why in this lesson, there's a lot of extra stuff below here. So you might just go through this video lesson, you say, okay, great, I'm done. My stuff is set up. Or you might scroll down here and you might want to go through a lot of this bonus content that covers first steps with a lot of the software, okay? There's a lot of extra stuff in here to really help you out, help you get through here. And let's just take a look at what a normal lesson looks like. I guess I could have used that one, but I'll go into lesson 1.8, amplitude and phase response measurements. So the first thing is always a video. You watch that. This one's 5 minutes. That's about normal. Most of these lessons are 5 to 7. Some of the longer ones that have more in the field training are maybe 10 to 15 minutes. But I try to keep them short. There might be some notes, and then it's going to list what your homework is for each lesson. In this case, the homework for this lesson is just a short quiz, and then you can go on to the next lesson. So let's take a look at the second module. Okay, module 2 is placement. So in placement, we've got analyzing our room and inventory, visualizing speaker coverage, front to back distance ratio for a single speaker. Talking about putting where these are sort of names of that try to encapsulate the lesson you're learning in each lesson. Sorry if I'm being too redundant. Anyway, that's why this one's called Put Sound Where the People Are. 2.4 is Place at Covered Center. 2.5 is Match Speaker Coverage Angle to Room Size. And then we've got Match Speaker Shape to Room Shape with Forward Aspect Ratio. So this is when we start getting into a little bit of geometry and math in this whole module. And I think this one is really fun. The way I have this entire course set up is to front load all of, I think, the most important things that you're going to need. So that's why in the first module, it covers all the tools and the prediction software. So that way, if for some reason this site goes offline or, I don't know, you go to live on an island with no internet access, or I disappear for some reason, if you know how to use your prediction software, design software, you can basically teach yourself everything you need to know. If you know how to use your audio analyzer, you can measure things and basically teach yourself everything you need to know. Okay, so that's why I try to front load all this stuff. When I walk into a room and I'm trying to think about, okay, where am I going to put my speakers? Where do they need to be aimed? The first things that I start thinking about, okay, what are the dimensions of this room? What is the forward aspect ratio of the room? How do I need to divide that up? Okay, so that's why these are the first lessons, okay? This is all about speaker placement. And then the last lesson is basic subwoofer arrays. There are several bonus videos in there too, as I learn more and more and create more lessons about smaller subwoofer arrays. All right, let's go on to Module 3. So Module 3 is all about speaker aim, okay? And this steps you into it really easily. First, we just talk about the basics of horizontal aim. Then we talk about doing some calculations with triangles, a little bit about geometry that I think is going to help everyone. Then we talk about some lessons in vertical aim. How can we calculate and estimate that if we know our speaker location? Now that we've done location and we know where the audience plane is, then how can we estimate our vertical aim? Okay, and then there are a bunch more lessons in this module, you guys. This one has been growing over the last year. It started out with, I think, 10, and now it has like 15 lessons. And that's because I realized that people are asking me more and more questions about, what about this scenario? What about this scenario? Okay, so we start off with aim and splay of a coupled point source array, and then we get into aim and splay of an asymmetrical coupled point source array. So these are your like mono cluster maybe, and then you've got a main and a some kind of fill speaker or a relay speaker down the side of the room, that kind of stuff. And then we just go over some of the trade-offs between an uncoupled point source and a point destination array, okay, just depending on where you aim those. We talk about aiming a delay speaker, and then after that, there's a whole series of lessons here about calculating splay and aim for a line array. And then after that, we get into a bunch of verification lessons. And a lot of these are really short because here we're just breaking everything down to like its minimum smallest element. Okay, that's what this whole course tries to do, is walk you through like what's the next smallest step we need to take in understanding how these different speaker combinations go together. So now that we have aimed all these things using some kind of math or geometry usually, then we're going to verify that aim with our audio analyzer down here. Okay, so we go through all of the shapes again. Symmetric coupled point source array, asymmetric coupled point source array. Okay, and then also verifying the aim and splay of a line array. Cool, let's go to the next module. Module 4 is all about EQ and listening. This is usually the module that people want to jump into right away. And I think it's not the most important one, which is why I put it a little bit later. Also, EQ is just the last step in the process when you're looking at like the sound system tuning roadmap. So that's why EQ is later. It occasionally happens that people join the course and they are just dying to get into Module 4 or Module 5, and I can open that up for them. Okay, you don't necessarily have to go through them all in order, but that is what I recommend. So less lessons here, right? This is basically how to use EQ filters. how to EQ a room using a target response, and then what is our EQ order of operation? So we start with our smallest piece, right? A single speaker, usually our main speaker that covers the largest portion of the audience. Okay, try to do a democracy. And then we put those together piece by piece. So, okay, now that we've taken our biggest main speaker, does it have like a coupled sort of lateral extension? Okay, do we need to look at that? Okay, that's our B speaker. So then we do A plus B, and we do the EQ for those. Okay, is there another speaker in that array, or is there some other kind of subsystem that's like an uncoupled, like our fill speakers out here, our front fills? Okay, let's look at those. Let's put all those together, and then let's connect our main array to our other subsystem down here. And so step by step, we stitch all those things together with a plan. So that's what the EQ order of operations, these last lessons are down here for this module. Okay, the next module, Module 5, is the last module. This one is all about crossover alignment, either spectral or spatial. So we start with our spatial crossover alignment, and that's things like our fill speakers. Okay, so I think probably the most interesting, most complicated thing that we learn in these lessons is where to put the measurement microphone, okay? Because with a full range speaker, setting the delay is not that hard. We just look at our audio analyzer. One delay says 10, one says 20, okay? The difference is 10 milliseconds. We need to add 10 milliseconds of delay. That's not that hard. The hard part is where do we actually put the measurement microphone to take that measurement? So that's what a lot of these lessons are about. And then lastly is the spectral crossover alignment. That's our main and sub, okay? Any sort of spectral extension into the low frequencies. Main and sub alignment. Again, a lot of people come into the course wanting to do a main sub alignment right away. And again, I think that's one of the last things that we're doing. But if people get in and they really want to get into this lesson right away, then I go ahead and open it up for them. Okay, and then we talk about subs on an aux, and then continuing to do measurement during showtime. Now, these are the, I think, 52 or 58 lessons that I have so far. In the next year, I'm planning to add another module that basically just includes lots of full tunings, because that is what students have been asking me for. People want to see, how do we connect all of these lessons now? And how does it go into a full day? Like from the time you walk in the door, what's the first thing you do, to going through measuring through showtime, to walking out the door. So I've made a couple of those videos already. Tests have been pretty good, and I'm going to be doing more of those like in the field, full tunings from beginning to end. So that'll be a new module in the future. Anyway, that's the overview of this course. If you guys are interested, feel free to post any questions on this video, and I hope to see you inside.